Cleary and Connolly work in a number of ways, and they actually started off as architects, so they have that kind of background of being very interested in the urban environment and how individuals and communities respond to that. So for a long time they've been doing film projects. It started in Paris with filming everyday life from their balcony and sort of seeing what emerged and creating art out of that. And for this project they decided to experience Dublin through film and through journeys. So they actually they didn't want to come up with too tight a preconceived notion before the residency about what exactly they were going to approach it. So they started by taking their cameras out in the streets and just experiencing what everybody else experiences in Dublin, which is the daily commuting to schools, to shops, to schools, through all the different modes of transport. And the idea of city loops, which is their whole project based on journeys and films, emerged out of that.
The work that we're doing here, the theme of the work is all about everyday movement, the journey that you might take 2,000 times in your life or 10,000 times in your life between work and school, or work and between home and school, home and work, and that you're constantly repeating the same bus route, same cycle, the same walk, same drive. We talk to a lot of people about those things, which is not easy because a lot of people just consider that's a sort of a limbo that they don't really have anything to say about. So we have to kind of tease them to think about the thing and talk about that repetitious part of their lives.
Just walking across the Blue Bridge.
Walking across the Blue Bridge?
Yeah.
When do you do that? When you get off the bus, or?
When I get off the bus, walk through the square and then over the Blue Bridge to my school.
Initially, when we started to work on the project, we didn't really know how to start. We didn't know very many people in Dublin, and we didn't really know how to access the place. And so we set up a series of participant projects with groups, schools, and with support groups, parent support groups. So one of those groups was a group from Brookfield, which is a suburb, quite a disadvantaged suburb in Tala. And we brought that group. It was a group of single parents and their children, and we brought them for the day into Dublin Castle, the garden near Dublin Castle, and we did a project with them. They were small children, so we did a project with them where the children had video cameras, and they all worked following their own footsteps around the spiralling paths in the garden, and that was quite an interesting project.
So Lewis Carroll was a piece of work they were doing where they were using the Lewis as a dolly, and what they were doing was navigating through space, and at each stop on the Lewis they would use that as a pause point, and they would take kind of ideas from music theory where they might mix something up. So you might have it as pure image and then a cooked image, so raw and cooked, but by cooked, like they may mix it up kind of visually. And they also were working with a musician, a composer called Dinah Bird, who they had collaborated with before in Paris. So they were, again, like a lot of the artists working with other people, working with what was there locally, and the resources that were there in terms of the Lewis line, but also using the Lewis maybe as a way to show how the idea of Tallaght, or the space of Tallaght, has changed through these transport corridors and these transport sort of resources.
So the whole piece altogether, in this exhibition there's 4 projections, which 2 of which are showing school projects that we did. One in Tallaght, one in Clondalkin, with 13-year-olds and 17-year-olds, and where we just simply asked them to film their everyday journey from school to home or back. And maybe just add something a little bit more in terms of commentary, and then a big project called Moving Dublin that's a 65-minute film made up of interviews, experimental pieces, and music pieces as well, because we commissioned 2 or 3 music pieces for the